Good evening, everyone. Today, welcome you all to the 66th session of the Praktani Adda. For this session, we have someone from the entertainment industry who has been a writer, producer, and a director, and a well-known figure in the entertainment sector. And to moderate the session, we have someone from the 1988 batch, Kumar Priyeshda. So he will moderate the session. Without much ado, I will hand over the proceedings to Priyeshda, and he will take you through the session.
Thank you, Satyam. And normally, in the last couple of years, I have been on the other side of conversation, but I'm today very glad to be a moderator for one of my good friends. And I am sure this is going to be one of its kind. But before I move forward, means I'll just let people know about me. So, as you mentioned, Satyam, yes, I passed out in 1988 from Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapith, and I have fond memories and very good memories of the school, like all of us we have. After passing out, I started my maybe doing the college and then engineering, and then started my professional journey. And currently, I am working with Jeep India as the head of the brand in the country. So I head Jeep India right now. And prior to this, I have worked with Maruti, Hyundai, Tata Motors, Volkswagen. So a fairly decent idea of the entire auto industry, so as to say. The guest of the day, yes, I'm happy to welcome Abhigyan to this session. But before I hand over to Abhigyan, a couple of things from my side. So he is a renowned Indian filmmaker, as many of you know, a producer, director, writer, entrepreneur, and a very good human being. So that's about Abhigyan. His journey, his life journey, his professional journey, it's not the usual one. It's a bit unusual, I would say, and that is something which Abhigyan will take us through in a very unusual way also. Abhigyan became a writer maybe in 1994 with November Rents, which was again transformed into a TV series, which was there on GTV. And I guess, if I'm not wrong, some 300 odd episodes were telecast, and it was hugely successful. We all have fond memories of movers and shakers, and that is something which Abhigyan had conceptualized, directed in 1997. He also debuted as a film director with the English movie Sacred Evil, a true story. And this movie I have personally seen, and I know it was also maybe it got a lot of positive reviews, attempts throughout the world. 2009, Abhigyan launched Jai Hind, which was a unique stand-up comedy show, which was produced purely for the internet, and this was also nominated for the ITA Awards in 2011. I'm sure Abhigyan will talk more about it when we hand it over to him. As a person, we know, personally, I know Abhigyan has been believing in empowering the youth. He always encourages the young talent to come forward from whatever field, but mostly from the entertainment world where he is the king. And that's why he co-founded Undercover Utopia, which is a platform for the young writers. So if I just go on talking about Abhigyan, maybe this entire session will be towards that, but I'm sure most of you are looking forward to hearing it from the horse's mouth. So before I hand it over to Abhigyan, I'll also request Satyam, if you could play a small video which I have shared with you.
तुम्हारे दिल में वो शब्द धड़कते जो दुनिया है बदल सकते, पर शायर तुमने खुद अपने जुबां पे लगाम लगा के रख दी।
हमेशा खामोश रहने की आदत में एक उम्र गवाया इस डर में यूं कहीं मैं कुछ गलत ना कह दूं क्या होगा कह के अगर सुना नहीं किसी ने हो किसी ने
अगर किसी ने सुना नहीं मीत मेरे तो कैसे गाएंगे लोग गीत तुम्हारे.
Just like this song from his upcoming series, The Socho Project, Abhigyan always believed if you don't try to do impossible sounding things, how will anyone do something impossible? With over 17 years in the media industry, he has written over 10 television shows, 4 films, 2 web shows, and countless stories that mirror the heart and soul of India. A writer, director, and a producer, Abhigyan Jha first captivated the audiences with India's very first late-night show, Movers and Shakers, from 1997 to 2001. This iconic show didn't just entertain, it pushed boundaries and inspired greater generation to think, laugh, and dream bigger. In 2009, Abhigyan achieved something that no one had done before. He launched Jai Hind, the world's first full-format TV show created exclusively for the internet. Jai Hind quickly became a paradigm shift and set a global precedent when it came to be the first online show to be syndicated on national broadcast TV. Once more, in November, rain fell on a contemporary show called Qayamat Se Qayamat Tak, which enacted the Reincarnation Love saga. Through each project, Abhigyan Jha brought stories to life that resonated deeply with the audience. He was never afraid to challenge the norm, to question, to inspire. Sacred Evil received the Golden Palm at the Mexico International Film Festival, a testament to his daring spirit and creative vision. Abhigyan Jha is still pushing the limits of media today as a founder and CEO of Undercover Production Limited and MAJ Productions, with VFX marvels in the Indian TV industry, just like Pisachini and Janani AI Ki Kahani, which was released recently.
So wonderful. And we actually found it very difficult to compress all the achievements of Abhigyan in a 2 minutes video. But yes, a lot more to come and from the horse's mouth himself. So over to you, Abhigyan. And we are looking forward to a great conversation in a very unusual way, what you are known for.
Thank you, Priyesh. Thank you, Praktani team, for having me here. It's always a big thing to speak to a place that influenced me greatly, where I spent only 2 years. I would have spent 5 if I had continued to be in Ramakrishna Mission for another 3 years. But I think those 2 years were very, very important for me because, I mean, there's nothing like that experience that I have encountered anywhere else. One of the things that I realized early, I mean, when I left RKMV early and came to Mumbai to stay here, it was a big decision. You know, one spent a lot of time preparing to get into RKMV. As most of you, I don't know how easy or difficult it is now. It was very difficult to get in. And from my family, there was already my senior cousin, Rajendra Jha Manan, who had already, you will remember Ramakrishna Maharaj, his batch, same, they were together. And that didn't stop Ramakrishna Maharaj from giving me one tight slap one day when I was there. I had expected some better treatment, but it was not forthcoming because that is the kind of strict person he was. But so my brother, who went on to work in Raw, and he just retired recently. So he had done it, and I know that it had taken him 3 attempts to get in. So it was, and he's a very, very smart man. So I did get in one attempt, but it took me a year of preparation to get there. And that I think that year of preparation also was something that is very unusual, because my parents took me out of normal school and my mother homeschooled me for a year. And I think I had to read and study stuff that nobody in fifth standard has to study. I was studying stuff which was in graduation level, because the idea was that RKMV में घुसने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा पता नहीं. तो तो जो कुछ हो सकता था, my parents made me go through. So I came there with lots of expectations. Lot of it was exceeded, and a lot of it was a very shocking experience in many ways, because I don't know how it is that you have showers today. We had to have showers in the open, and when in the and in the December January cold, to have the shower in the open, which I had never encountered in my entire life, having grown up with my grandparents, who obviously pampered me a lot. So I always had warm water to have showers with, like बाल्टी से भी नहाते थे तो गर्म, सूरज की धूप में गर्म करके देती थी नानी. तो वो तो था नहीं यहाँ ठंड में. So I developed asthma, which was one of the main reasons I had to leave Ramakrishna Mission, because my health was deteriorating a lot there. I think some of it because of the shock of the way we lived, which was very Spartan. You had to wear the shorts to go to go to for prayer early in the morning in the cold. No long pants were allowed till you were in ninth or 10th standard. I think these things have changed. I think I visited Ramakrishna Mission, I found everybody was wearing long pants. I said, chalo, this is a good, progress to it. I remember Rajneesh Ranjan, me, and another student was there, Mriganko Chatterjee. We three developed asthma and we were permanently in the hospital, which was like crazy. But anyway, so I had thought that I'll spend 5 years there, and it was unusual that I could not. So when I came to Bombay, I came to pursue cricket, which was my first love. I wanted to be a cricketer. And when I first finally did my first book, the first page of it quotes a Beatles song. Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. So it's actually a John Lennon song, not Beatles. So that's something that dawned on me when I was playing cricket here. Like, how unusual is it for me to be here? I was supposed to be in Ramakrishna Mission, being a studious boy, studying things. How did I even get out? How did I have the nerve to tell my father I'm not going back there, because that was his dream to send me there, and it was the best education I ever received. And then the thing that I left Ramakrishna Mission for, cricket, I couldn't pursue it beyond a point, because once they discovered I have asthma, the coaches absolutely said we cannot use you, because it's a team sport and we cannot put you in the team if you're going to suddenly on the day of the match, if you're going to develop asthma. So I think I had a 5 year run. I got into the college teams and stuff like that. I played in Achrekas, which is where Sachin and Kambli played. My brother went on to play in the same place. He went to Shadashram school later. He played with Ajit Agarkar. Ajita was like a frequent guest in our house, because he was the captain of the team. So, but I had to give it up, because in college, when I was playing college, at that time, they discovered that I have asthma because I missed a match. And that's it. My career was over. I was thrown out of the team. Said, you can play individual sports, maybe you pick up something else. So for a couple of years, I was very disoriented. And so I think around that time, it started crystallizing in my mind that, life is not ever going to be a planned, fixed thing. It is like you have to be prepared for all the turns, and you have to embrace them. You have to improvise, and be whatever happens. You have to trust your knowledge, your ability to imagine something interesting, and you have to be valuable in some way to someone to be able to continue with your life. So I actually dropped out of college. I think 1990, 1990, yes. 1991. Second year BA, I dropped out of college. I was studying political science. I had very good grades, but I dropped out and I founded an advertising agency with my wife, Mrinal. I was, I think, 19 years old. I sold my guitar, which I was very bad at. I tried to play the guitar for some time. I was not good at it. So terrible, terrible, very bad. So I sold that guitar for 600 rupees and we started an agency because, at that time there was no way to study advertising. Mica was not yet there. And the only way to study advertising was to go to the 3As of I, the Advertising Agency Association of India, and they had incorporated. They used to run these batches. In 1 year, they used to train 12 copywriters and 12 visualizers, 12 media planners, and I think 12 client servicing people. And the batches were of about 8 people each. So total, I think you got about 80, 90 people every year who passed out from there. That too, out of that number of copywriters would be only 12 in a year. So to get selected for it was very difficult. It was again very, very difficult to be selected. Somehow Mrinal and I both got selected on our copy tests, and we were both in the copywriters thing. She was in a different batch, I was in a different batch. So when we passed out of that place, I was placed in an agency called Everest, which was a very big agency. There are a lot of cigarette brands, very big cigarette brands were there. And Mohammed Khan was running that. He was an icon of Indian advertising. He was running Everest. And Mrinal was placed in Lintas, so even bigger. And she got picked up by Anita Sarkar, who had done the Lalita Ji ad. If anyone remembers the Lalita Ji surf ad, it's like a very big campaign of all time. So a chance to work with her. We both didn't take our jobs. And we said, we are 2 out of 12 of this year. Why should we go and work for someone? Why not start our own? We are 1/6 of the entire talent of this year, right? So this job that we are getting is too small and too little. They're not paying us enough, And when you're young, sometimes you have these crazy ideas. You say, no, this is not good enough money. This is not. My father at that time said he was in RBI. He said, I have worked since 1969 in my RBI job, and I'm just about getting 1,000 rupees more than what you're getting in advertising in your first job, and you're thinking this is less. And we were like, no, but Christopher Rosario, the #1 copywriter in the country, he gets like 2 lakhs a month. And I'm talking 1991. So he said, 1,500 is too less. Our job was 1,500 each. And in anyone, and we said, no, we're not going to do that. We're sure we can make more than 3,000 rupees a month starting our own agency. And we did. And guess what? In the first month, we made 5,000. So we were not wrong. Okay, we were right. But it was very tough. It's a great idea to start. You've never started a business. You've not gone to business school. You're not from a business family. You have no clue what business means. It's not just winning a client. We're damn good at winning clients. We're very bad at running the financials of the business. We didn't know how to run it. So we had to learn that. But it was great fun. We created at least one brand, which is still there, I guess. Though they have had their own ups and downs. I think they sold to Reliance. It became India's #1 children's fashion brand, Ginny and Johnny. So we actually created that brand from a gala in Lower Parel. This man used to make job work clothes for a big fashion boutique at that time called Sheetal. It was a 3-story big building in Bombay called Sheetal. I think they still have Sheetal studio clothes being sold. But Sheetal was the main place where you went to, buy clothes. Rich people went to Sheetal to buy clothes. And this guy was a supplier of theirs. So we gave him a dream. We told him, you should make your own brand and then you sell your thing. And finally, Ginny and Johnny became much, much bigger than Sheetal one day. So we created that brand, Ginny and Johnny. We designed their first logos, and they became in 6 months our biggest client. But
if I'm not wrong, Abhigyan, Ginny and Johnny was prominently maybe in all the leading malls.
Yes. It was for a time. It was India's only. It was like India's Oshkosh Bigosh. So a big brand. One second.
Yeah, because my kids were also growing up at the same time, so I know it quite well.
Right. So in the early 90s, that was a huge brand. It became really big. But as luck would have it, and we started growing very fast because of that, because so many brands came to us because they wanted to, particularly garment brands, and there were a lot of pen brands. We exploded, you know, we suddenly doing lakhs of business. And I was still not 21, and it was like, it looked like the greatest thing that we have done, not going to work for someone. Then Ginny and Johnny did something because of which we had to shut our entire advertising agency down. And this is what I'm saying. I mean, like, life is sometimes really unusual. When you go for an unplanned life, this is the kind of life that you lead, and you deal with that and you do something. So they didn't pay us for the biggest campaign that they did. Okay. When they were growing and we were doing one big campaign after the other, one big campaign after the other. And the biggest campaign to date that we did, and it was also their biggest campaign, and it did really well. We got tremendous amount of visibility and orders from entire Western India. And they didn't pay us a dime for that campaign. So I was down like minimum 2 lakhs, even after negotiating the magazines. Mostly it was magazine and newspaper ads, and a lot of color ads, like, you know, all the big magazines of that time, Magna Publications, Society and Savvy and all those magazines. Very glossy ads for the mothers of the kids. And even after all the discounts that the magazines gave, we still were down 2 lakhs. So 2 lakhs was too big an amount. I mean, you can imagine if you adjust inflation, I think it will be like too much of an amount today. It is 33 years have passed, 32 years. So we decided it's time to shut the agency, and we're not very good at collection. We're good at generating ideas, and we're very good at convincing people of our ideas. So let's go full time into just writing. And at that time, the satellite channels had not yet started. So it was a very risky decision. There was only Doordarshan. But we said, this is it, we can't do more. So after doing all our net payments to everyone, we sold some of our stuff and we cleared the 2 lakhs, and we were left with 40,000 rupees. And this is how November Rain was born. We said we're going to write this book about something that had happened to one of our friends, and we'll write this story about this guy who loses his girlfriend just before he's going to get married to her. And it was a stunning event that he was my close friend. He had everything in life, and suddenly, again, like, life turned, right? It became absolutely, he was a doctor, she was a doctor. They were going to start this big hospital. Both families were doctors. Everything was set up for them. And one day he just crashed his car and she died. And so we wrote a book about that, how to grapple with that. And we could not exceed 108 pages. Okay. This is before DTP became a very big thing. We are still talking actual printing. Okay. Offset printing. Printing was very expensive. Printing was very, very expensive in 90s. So we went to the printer, and because we did a lot of printing as an agency, so we knew the printers. We went and asked them, 40,000 rupees, how many copies can we print? And we wanted minimum 1,000 copies to be printed. And how big can the book be? So he said not more than 110 pages. So we had to write a book that had to be 110 pages and below. Okay. There was no way to write more. So good thing we were copywriters, so we were used to writing less में ज़्यादा. तो वो काम आ गया, and we wrote a 108-page book. We could afford a color cover, so that happened. And then we realized, well, we don't have many bookshops in Bombay. Where do we sell these books now? And there was no Amazon, there was no Flipkart, there was nothing. I have no idea about book distribution. We never thought of this part. We thought we could write a great story, people will love the story, and we did not think about distribution at all. And so then we went to this one big bookstore that Bombay had. It was called the Strand Bookstore, where even Ratan Tata bought his books. And it was right behind RBI. So my dad knew about it. He bought a lot of books from there. So we went to Strand, and we told him, listen, we are these young writers who have self-published a book, because, you know, by the way, we sent the book to Penguin and everyone. And you know what we were told? So this is real, okay? I had a guy in Penguin tell me, this is shit, man. You guys are writing like Stephen King. And it's unbelievable that somebody gave us a gali in the name of Stephen King. So this is how our literary landscape was. Nobody published paperback novels in India in 90s. Okay, there was no paperback. There was no way Chetan Bhagat would have ever gotten in. So imagine Stephen King could not have gotten it. It was that bad. They only published very heavy literary stuff like Salman Rushdie kinds, Amitabh Ghosh kind of books, not this paperback books. No pulp fiction allowed. Pulp Fiction was a gali. So I remember the first review of November said this is a welcome change. Finally, when it did come out, finally somebody has written Pulp Fiction. I think Times of India, someone wrote that. I think even Shobha Day gave a compliment to it and all. But that came later. So we went to Strand. We requested him, we have written this book, and he had one look at the book. He said, I'll read it and we'll let you know if you'll keep it. So he read it and he said, oh, it's quite entertaining. I don't mind. I'll keep it. I'll give you this space. Okay. I think a lot of people who come to read this kind of stuff and all, they will like it. In the international section, mein dal denge. Wherever, man, just put it there. And that's it. For a while, we had only one bookstore. Then the advertising, marketing people in us, we started thinking differently. So there was the first big fast food thing that somebody had done in India at that time, which was croissants. Croissants was the first like a Starbucks kind of coffee shop in Bombay at that time. I think they had 6 stores. One was in Chembur, where I used to live. So we went and requested them, will you carry the books here? Would you do an offer? If somebody bought something worth 250, 500 rupees, will you give them a copy of this book? The book is like 49 rupees. They'll feel good if they get a 50 rupee book. They said, sure. And we put the books there, and the book started really going, in croissants. Then the croissant guy told us about crosswords was opening in South Bombay, near Hajili. And we went to crossword, and they had no Indian pulp fiction at all. They said, okay, we'll also keep it. They kept it. And Strand started selling like, I think, 30, 40 copies a month. And we had no idea who was buying it, but very soon we realized who was buying it. All these guys who were starting television in India, apparently they were all buying it. So, and we had written this book under a pseudonym. So there was no Abhigyan Jha and Mrinal Jha. There was like Al Rains. Because, my nickname is Kunal. I think Priyesh also knows that. He must have heard about this name back when I was in school. My nickname is Kunal, and Mrinal is...
And also, when we met last Abhigyan, you had shared the story with me, how this name was...
Yeah, that's a very unusual story, how I met my wife, and that's also strange. So I met my wife, so I'll cut back to the different area, college, Wilson College. So I went to Wilson. One of the reasons I went to Wilson is because I liked a serial called Chunauti on TV. Okay, I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember Chunauti on Doordarshan. There was a serial, Arif Zakaria was there in it. It was a very, very big serial it came out in, I think, 88 or something like that, 88 or 86, 86, I think it was 86 serial. So Chunauti was about college, and it was shot in Wilson College. So I asked everyone around, where was it shot? I'll go to study there. And as it turned out, both my parents knew one professor in Wilson. So they said it's a good college. So they were also okay with my going there. So I applied and I got in. And the professor there, and you may have heard his name also, he's also a decently famous director, Sachin Yadi, who made a film called Kya Cool Hai Hum. So Yadi's father was the head of the economics department. He's a very big communist leader also. And so he's the guy who took me there. And so, but he told me you have to be very involved in all these, activities of the college, which meant a lot of communist activity, which was organizing things and that. So one of the things he organized early on was, Nelson Mandela was still in jail. For 26 years, the man was in jail. And many times people had done all these signature campaigns to get him out, but the South African government used to never let him out. And so again, 88 also this was organized. And there was a thing, I don't know, again, it exists today or not. It's called Students Action Group for International Peace, SAGIP. So it was very big. It had like a chapter in every country and every city of the world. So SAGIP organized this mammoth signature drive for releasing Nelson Mandela. So I signed up for it. I had no idea Mrinal was going to come or not. And one of the first things we were there, we were practicing a choir song of Hum Honge Kamyab in English. So we will overcome. So वो choir की प्रैक्टिस है, मैं बहुत खराब गाता हूँ, I cannot sing at all. So मेरे को काम दिया गया कि नेल्सन मंडेला का जो ये है ना फेस, what do you call the badges, पेपर badges में सेफ्टी पिन लगाओ. जब वो choir की प्रैक्टिस है तुम बैठ के वो करो, कम से कम हजारों हमको बांटने हैं, तो सेफ्टी पिन लगाते जा रहा था मैं. And there was suddenly this girl, petite little girl who came, and I had no idea who she was, and she came and she stood with me and she started doing it. And then we got talking, and it turned out that she said her name is Mrinal, and I made a lot of fun of her because my younger brother's nickname was Mrinal, because in Bengalis Mrinal is a boy's name, whereas in Maharashtra Mrinal is a girl's name. So I said, no, my younger brother's name is Mrinal. What kind of a name is this for a girl and all that? And also I tried to, I said, which year are you in? And she said FY. And I said, oh, FY. I was FY, but I talked to Lada, and then I later found out FY for her was FIBA. She was my senior. So, so वो बहुत अजीब हुआ. Then she realized my name is Kunal. So we got talking, and it was very funny, Kunal Minal. So throughout the college time, when we were going together, we were going steady, people used to find it really funny that our names are Kunal Minal. Because Abhigyan नाम बहुत कम लोगों को पता था कॉलेज में. Because Mr. Yadi, having known me as a kid, he put my name in college as Kunal. So Al was common to our names. So we picked Al and we wrote Rains because the book was about November rain. So it became Al Rains. And so pseudonym Al Rains था. तो some कुछ time लगा लोगों को हम तक पहुंचने में. And so Ronnie Screwwala bought a copy. Then he gave it to Zarina Mehta, who was his wife and co-founder of UTV. Then someone gave a copy to Ekta, someone who was a 16-year-old thinking of starting a company. And suddenly we had, ऐसे करके बहुत लोगों के पास गया. Suddenly we started getting calls, and we had to never struggle a day in television. We had to never go and ask anyone for work, never, because it just came to us. I mean, it was a different matter that we could do it because we had not done television before, but the work came to us thick and fast, And so in like 6 months, we were doing a very big television serial called Rajni, which was, as kids, we had seen that as like season 2 we were doing, and in which, the very first episode, Shah Rukh Khan was there, a rising Shah Rukh Khan was there in that episode. It was bizarre. I mean, who would let a couple of 21-and-a-half-year-olds write a show that was that mature? But we were writing it, and the producer was the man who was making Dekh Bhai Dekh at that time, and which was India's biggest show at that time. It is still India's biggest sitcom of all time, which created Shikhar Suman. So we got a chance to do that, and we had a great time because that was today it's very difficult to imagine a show like Rajni because it was about issues, it was about somebody taking a stand. It was also extremely feminist show. It was very ahead of its time, but it was popular. It was not a flop. It was like a gigantically popular thing. It was about consumer activism. It was about many, many things. So we had a great time doing it. And I think it made us, because a lot of times, in India, a lot of people would say today that I don't watch TV. Kya bakwas hai. We don't come from that era. So we still try to do meaningful work in TV, and we believe it can be done. And when people tell us कि पैसे के लिए थोड़ा सा खराब काम करना पड़ता है because लोग तो यही देखते हैं, repeatedly we have found that to be not true, because Rajni was a huge hit, so was More Than Shikhars, so was many of the Kali Agni Pariksha. Every time we have done a good work, people have loved it. So we never believe that this maxim is true, that to make money you must lower the discourse. That is not at all true. I think when I was doing More Than Shikhars, and I'm going very non-linearly, I thought that I will do it in a very serial manner, but I think 35 minutes it will not be possible to do justice if I go linear. So during More Than Shikhars, somebody had taken a journalist had taken a very good shot from a local train. He had shot the photo, and there was More Than Shikhars playing in a slum next to the railway tracks. And behind it was a high rise, and it was inside that window also, it was More Than Shikhars playing. So it was an insane photo, which he said, good content equalizes everything. And it was popular everywhere. From Jumri Talaya to wherever, anywhere you mention More Than Shikhars was popular.
You talked You talk to anyone again who had seen television in those times. Movers and shakers, it's known to everyone. And Rajni reminds of many of the contemporary politicians. You must be understanding whom I am referring to. Because लोग हमेशा सोचते थे okay, she is copying Rajni and trying to make a change. Although that didn't happen, but yes, both this Rajni or maybe movers and shakers,
Yeah, and
everyone knows about it.
it was also a privilege to know that Shikhar Suman and Priya Tendulkar, because Priya Tendulkar was Vijay Tendulkar's daughter, and she was actually like that. She was not just playing that character. I mean, she was totally like that. Totally. If you wrote a bad scene or a shallow scene and gave it to her, she'll throw it back at you and say, nonsense. Write it better. Don't fucking make Rajni talk shitty lines. So she should be like that. Shikhar Suman was the same. He pushed us to do better work. He resigned. To give an example, Mugadhan Shikhar was so big. I think I'll have to give you an example of money. So Mugadhan Shikhar used to make about 100 crores a year for Sony at that time. To put it in context, there are very few shows of Sony today that make 100 crores a year. So it is like that big a difference. Shekhar Suman's salary was in the year 1999, and in 2000 it was even higher. 99 was 7 crores a year in the year 1999. I remember Shah Rukh Khan came for our third season, first episode, to promote his own film, फिर भी दिल है हिंदुस्तानी. He and Juhi Chawla came for the show, and in the makeup room, he and Shekhar were talking, and Shahrukh was telling him कि साले तूने मुझे अभी तक बुलाया नहीं, इतना दिन हो गया, so इतने गेस्ट आके गए तेरे, रोज 2 गेस्ट आते हैं, तूने मुझे बुलाया नहीं. And Shekhar is saying, there is a queue, Shahrukh. There are so many people, and we never paid anybody to come on Mugadhan Shikhar. Today's guests are paid. We don't pay. We never paid anyone. And he said, line.
Veer has gone to find a toy.
Sorry?
No, I think it's a distraction, so you can continue.
Okay. So, Shikhar said, आपने लाइन में क्यू में अपना नाम लगाया नहीं होगा, इसलिए आपको नहीं बुलाया. So he said, yeah, I had to call and tell कि मेरी film आ रही है, I want to promote it, you better call me. So then your guest department people give me a slot. And he said, yeah, and you're very lucky because, actually speaking, today's slot was for the 2 Miss Indias, Lara Datta and Priyanka Chopra. And you are taking their slot. So I remember that. I think that's the first time Priyanka Chopra met Shah Rukh Khan, because they were in 2 different makeup the same day they were being shot. So we shot them. And Shah Rukh was telling Shekhar this, कि भाई, ये क्या सच में तेरे को 7 करोड़ रुपए मिलते क्या साल के? तो शेखर said, yeah, और मेरे को अगले साल 9 मिलेगा, because मेरा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट आता है 3, 5, 7, 9 ऐसे करके. तो he said, यार मैं बादशाह, he had already done बादशाह, I'm like called like the big deal of Bollywood, and I do 4 films a year, 60 lakhs per film I charge, 2.5 करोड़ रुपए बनते मेरे. यार तेरे 7 कैसे हो रहे हैं? तू छोटा स्क्रीन पे है. बोले लेकिन मैं रोज हूं ना भाई, तुम्हारा तो फिल्म कभी कभी आती है. मैं I am entertaining millions of people every day. So he had become that big. He was bigger than the channel. And from that, he was going to get 11 crores the year that he resigned. He resigned. And I think sometimes only a Bihari can do something like that. I don't think a Gujarati man would have resigned 11 crores. But he did, for his pride and for his, some people say ego, but I'll say pride, because, KBC had come already, and Mugadhan Shikhar was no longer the #1 show. And Sony made a lot of marketing mistakes and scheduling mistakes when it got attacked by something like KBC out of the blue. So Shekhar wanted the show to be upgraded. He said, मेरा पैसा मत बढ़ाओ, मेरा contract जैसा है रहने दो, लेकिन show में invest करो, because now we were the #1 non-fiction show, but no longer we are the #1. So Priyesh is a marketing person, he'll understand this. If the market changes, dynamic changes, and a new leader comes, you have to respond to it. You can't do the same thing the same way as you did before. So there were a lot of demands for the show to upgrade the kind of set we have, upgrade the kind of people that we were calling, to provide the guests with. आजकल वो normal है, but Mugadhan Shikhar के time पे सोनी उसको कुछ भी नहीं देता था हमें. Like Kamal Hassan, I remember, wanted to come for Mugadhan Shikhar, and he wanted to come. It's not that we were pursuing him. But he said, मेरे को यार फ्लाइट की टिकट दे दो और मेरे को एक रहने की जगह दे दो बॉम्बे में भाई ढंग की, ताकि मैं आ सकूं. And Sony was like, नहीं, tell him to come on his own, man. It's Mugadhan Shikhar. एक लिमिट तक चलता है वो. फ्री में आ रहे हैं वहां तक ठीक है, But you have to provide these basic things which worldwide celebrities are provided. And today, Sony also provides it all to every celebrity for Kapil Sharma show or whatever show that they do. But it was not given. So Shekhar was carrying everything on his shoulder. It was on his thing. So he resigned. He actually quit. He said, okay, if you don't do it, then I don't want my 11 crores. Fuck it. I'm not going to do a bad show. So I think very few people today would do that and take a stand like that. And throughout the time, I've been fortunate enough to work with people like that who take a stand, like Prahlad Kakkars of this world, or who walked out of a star show, very big star show. He didn't do it. He said, no, this is not the climate in which I will do. Ashutosh Rana, with whom I did Kali Ek Agni Pariksha, he said, I will do a 100-episode show only. I'm not going to do a long running, dragging show. And we shot exactly 130, 36. Okay, because we could not wrap it up in 100. So he did allow us. But that's why Kali Ek Agni Pariksha was our first limited series. Before that, no TV show was a limited series. So before OTT, and it was on sexual abuse. And he was playing a child molester. Imagine agreeing to play a child molester on primetime television on Star Plus. He did that. And I think, and you're talking about new talent and all. We found Neha Sharma, who is such a big name today. Neha Sharma, television is one of the biggest artists. She was, we found her for Kali Ek Agni Pariksha. She was standing in a line of auditions in Delhi, and my wife picked her out from that line and said, this girl looks promising, let's audition her. And then we gave her the role, and that's it. That's how Neha Sharma was born. And many, many times it has happened that we found people like that. So many people from Whistling Woods whom I tried first time in Jai Hind, and they all are doing really, really well. Someone is a very big ad film DOP. Someone has made a career in films with Dharma Productions. Sahil Ved, who has been in Humpty Sharma Ki Dulhaniya, Badrinath Ki Dulhaniya. He's there in many, many films. He had no work. He was just passed out from Whistling Woods. I think I was the first person to hire these kids from Whistling Woods, because Whistling Woods तभी बस चालू हुआ था. उधर फिल्म इंस्टीट्यूट के लोगों का तो पता था, Whistling Woods का किसी को पता नहीं था. ये हमारे TVF के लोग, AIB के लोग, ये सब जय हिंद में इंटर्नशिप करके गए, मतलब काम करके गए हैं. They have all emerged from there. AIB का one person was in with us. TVF के people have also.
TVF, so they have become quite big now with a lot of series and maybe.
They raised funding. So they raised funding very famously. They managed to raise funding. It helps if you are from IIT. It helps you a lot in raising funding. So they are from IIT. They were the first IIT people in content. So, and they claim to have a technology to make your content viral, which proved to be absolutely not true. But they raised the funding and then they put it in content only finally, because ऐसी कोई technology हो ही नहीं सकती. Content को viral करने की कोई technology नहीं हो सकती.
So creativity है basically. It has to be something good.
हाँ, good, but there are a lot of issues with digital media. वो सब solve करना पड़ता है. So we went in, and in 2009, then we did this major experiment. So we were trying to do a show like Jai Hind. So we brought back, when Star tried to take more than Shekhar to Star, when Shekhar was writing his resignation and all, but Shekhar didn't go to Star at that time. That's a long story why. So Samir Nair, who now runs, Applause Entertainment, very big name, who is the man who made KBC and changed the landscape of Indian television. So Samir Nair always wanted to make something with me and Shekhar. So in 2008, we did something that Mohan and Shekhar always wanted to do, but we never managed because Sony had not allowed it. So we did a live event in Delhi with politicians present. तो उनके सामने उनके ऊपर जोक मारे. ये हमने पहले किया था. Mohan and Shekhar में हमने तब स्टूडियो में करते थे. So Mohan, of course, in Mohan and Shekhar, Sushma Swaraj had come as the information broadcasting minister. And she came and we played her all the jokes that we had done on her. One of them में था कि ये चुड़ैल की तरह रात को निकलती है दिल्ली के रास्तों में ढूंढती है, because न्यूज रिपोर्ट थे ना, रात को निकलती थी देखने के लिए क्या हो रहा है, तो वैसे व्हाइट साड़ी में जाती थी, तो हमने उनके ऊपर जोक्स किए थे. तो शी सेड वेरी बैड शेखर, ऐसे सब नहीं करना चाहिए. एंड नाउ दैट आई एम इन्फॉर्मेशन, मैं जब दिल्ली में चीफ मिनिस्टर तब आपने ऐसे जोक्स किया, मैं इन्फॉर्मेशन ब्रॉडकास्ट, आपको डर नहीं लगता, मैं आपको बैन कर सकती हूँ. And she said, तो आप क्यों नहीं करती मुझे बैन? So she said, इसलिए नहीं करती. And this is another key moment of my life. I think I was 26 or 27 years old when this happened. And she said, मैं नहीं बैन कर सकती क्योंकि अटल जी रोज देखते हैं. So it was crazy. It was very crazy. It was like endorsement of the PM for the show. So that gives you a little bit of responsibility when you then want to do one bad joke someday. बहुत ज्यादा फुअर जोक आप करना चाहते हैं, आपको लगता है नहीं भाई पीएम देख रहा है यार, थोड़ा तो ढंग का बनाओ, तो वो एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी रहती है आदमी के अंदर। एनीवे, तो मोहन शिकस के टाइम से उसको करना था कुछ ऐसा हमारे साथ। तो इमेजिन टीवी में काम कर रहे थे समीर नायर, और उन्होंने बोला हम लाइव करेंगे, अडवाणी जी को बुलाएंगे, अडवाणी जी की पूरी फैमिली को बुलाएंगे, और हम बहुत सारे जोक्स अडवाणी जी पे करेंगे। तो हमने कहा ठीक है, लालू जी को भी बुलाएंगे, इसको बुलाएंगे, उसको बुलाएंगे, ऐसे करके फाइनली अडवाणी जी नहीं आए, अडवाणी जी की फैमिली आई, लालू जी नहीं आए, पर पासवान जी आए। डीएलएफ, आई थिंक डीएलएफ की शेयर प्राइस बहुत गिर गई थी, हमने बहुत डीएलएफ के जोश किया, डीएलएफ के ओनर तो बैठे हुए थे फर्स्ट रो पे, तो वो पहली बार था। लॉट ऑफ बिग ब्यूरोक्रेट्स, पुलिस गाइज, पॉलिटिशियंस, and we were going hammer and tongs at them, and they all came and hugged Shekhar at the end, and they all see that's such an endorsement for freedom of speech. It's fantastic to see. So we did that, and the great success. It was called Still Moving and Still Shaking. So it was about 7 years after Modi was actually closed. So once we did that, Imagine said, let's do a show like this all over again. We tried doing it, but then they did some research and found that Shekhar is too old now. Let's not take Shekhar. We need a new person. So then I found Sumit Raghavan, who had just done Sarabai, and I convinced him to do stand-up comedy, which he had never done before. We got a pilot, and Samir and I loved it, and we had a whole slot on Imagine TV. We had like 5 days a week, and we could all make a lot of money, and it was like a very interesting place to be. And then we had some problems with their team. Because as a CEO, like you are now a CEO, you will realize every little operational thing you cannot be involved. Yep. So Sandeep Nair may have had a great sense of humor, and he understood the jokes. His team had no sense of humor, and they were not understanding any of the jokes that we were writing. And you cannot second guess a joke. So we know how to do it. Other people who don't know how to do it, we cannot teach them. It's difficult to teach somebody who's not funny. So we went to Samir and said, she said, but I can't listen to every episode. I don't have the time. So then how do we do it? Either you leave it to me, or you have to listen, because your team has no sense of humor. We can't run the show. And then it broke down there. So I said, if it's funny or not, you should use the internet medium. Internet is a new medium that has come. Test it out. See if it is actually funny or not, what we're doing, before you put it on TV. It's cheap to put it on the internet and test. They didn't understand that. But from those discussions, Sumit and I thought, let's do an experiment. Let's forget about this show on Imagine TV. Let's go independent and let's do it on the internet. Why not? So we took a 30-minute episode in 2009, when the average bandwidth was something like 256 kbps only, and where people used to say that there is no way a 30-minute show can buffer. We went on the internet and we launched the show, and we got our first 1 million views in 12 days, and without any marketing, without anything at all. And that was mind-boggling. Taught me a very big lesson also, that we often prepare all our plans when we are launching a new business or a new venture or new anything on failure. We are trying to make the venture failure proof. But we don't do it, make it success proof. We didn't do it. We did not, everyone told us it was not possible to be a success on the internet. So it was supposed to be an experiment. And we told the audience, we will do the next episode when you give us 1 million views. And the site on which we launched, and that guy is now one of India's biggest EV makers. It was his site. It was his first venture. Amitabh Saran, Dr. Amitabh Saran, who has Altigreen.
I know him.
Yeah, he's my very good friend. So
okay.
The Jai Hind was launched with him. He was 25% stakeholder of that, because it was on his side, that Buzzingtown, that we launched it. So that was the only thing. He gave us the homepage of that site. That's it. That was the only marketing, so to speak. He said, it will take you 6 months before you get 1 million views. There's no way, Abhigyan, you can get to that. And we got there in 12 days. So we had to start making regular episodes after 12 days. We had thought, we had not prepared. We had not prepared a plan what we will do. We had no ad sales teams. We had no marketing teams. We had nobody. We thought we have time, and we didn't have time. So it did very well, and that was the next birth of that show, and it created the entire internet media, so to speak. We were the first to get more than 10-minute video slots on YouTube India. We became YouTube partners, the second YouTube partners in India after Rajeshri. दैट होल वर्ल्ड, अपलोडिंग वीडियो, कंसोल, हैंडलिंग, ये सब ये कोई करता नहीं था तभी, वो हमारे अलावा किसी को नहीं आता था। हमने पूरा सीखा वो। और ये आज भी वर्ल्ड वाइड इट इज स्टिल द लॉन्गेस्ट, इट होल्ड्स द रिकॉर्ड फॉर द लॉन्गेस्ट रनिंग इंटरनेट शो। इट रैन 6 years and 400 episodes. So if you can imagine, the biggest Netflix show has never crossed 100 episodes. So 400 क्या होता है? हर हफ्ते 2 आता था, वो भी नहीं आया आज तक इंटरनेट पे। हर हफ्ते 2 एपिसोड, ऐसा कोई शो बना नहीं है। We were much ahead of the time, but we failed to raise money to become a platform, so we had to give it up. That's what I'm saying. Life is not exactly the way you plan to be, but that should not stop you from doing things. डरने की कोई जरूरत नहीं, करते रहो, कुछ ना कुछ अच्छा होगा। जितना दिन तक होगा वो अच्छा होगा, लोगों को मजा आना चाहिए। You should be proud of what you have done. Other people should get something out of it. So I mean, I know for a fact that if Jai Hind had not happened, TVF would not happen. If Jai Hind had not happened, AIB would not have happened, because those guys all dreamt of it, seeing that if इंटरनेट पे
Correct.
content बन सकता है। सो वो और इतने स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी, आज वरुण ग्रोवर, अदिति मित्तल, नीति पलटा, ये सारे नाम जय हिंद से आए। ये कोई नहीं थे वहां पर। वरुण ग्रोवर को फर्स्ट टाइम हमने टेलीविजन कैमरे के सामने डाला, कोई उस तब पहले कभी किसी ने डाला ही नहीं था। ही यूज्ड टू राइट बट ही वाज नेवर परफॉर्मिंग, सो आई मेड हिम परफॉर्म, सो ही बिकेम अ परफॉर्मर। सो that's what talent. You have to recognize talent and you have to give them opportunity.
And one key learning out of what you mentioned in the last 5 minutes, it's very important to experiment with things. Don't always look at what people are saying, what could be the possible failure. Maybe normally we always tend to think ये काम नहीं करेगा, so मुझे भी नहीं करना, and we don't experiment with things.
No,
That's
that's
very very typical of maybe all of us, maybe in whichever field we are.
right.
We avoid taking risks and maybe doing experiments.
I think that's what I took a very odd path in that sense, that I've always tried to do what seems to be impossible. So in 2017 with my daughter, I have gotten into an absolutely another new thing which is called Prometheus. And because of COVID, we have suffered a bit of a setback, but it's still there in the works. We built an algorithm-based solution to what is talent. So because I have come into this field which is completely about talent, because no amount of training can make you a very good actor if you don't have talent. There's no place to hide. Sometimes a man can become a doctor even when he's not a talented doctor, and he can still serve it out, because it's a very step oriented thing. If you do this and this, maybe you can डायग्नोसिस नहीं कर पाएगा उतना अच्छा से, बट सर्जरी तो कर लेगा, वही सर्जरी बार बार करना है। बट वहां भी टैलेंट लगता है, हर चीज में टैलेंट लगता है, हर फील्ड, हर काम में टैलेंट लगता है। बट लॉट ऑफ प्लेसेस लाइक if Sachin Tendulkar was made to be a CA, how good a CA would have been, I don't know. Similarly, CA बनने के लिए भी एक टैलेंट लगता है। आपको अगर टैलेंट नहीं है CA का, तो आप अच्छा CA नहीं बनोगे, आप एक मीडियोकर CA बनोगे। तो टैलेंट का वी हैव ऑल gone into paths in which maybe by luck we have found our calling, और हम लोग फिट बैठ गया, जिसका नहीं बैठा बेचारा फंस गया। तो इसको सॉल्व करने की जरूरत है। मैंने बहुत देखा है कि hundreds of actors have taken training and they have put in, so passion भी काम नहीं आता है अगर टैलेंट नहीं है, और the 10,000 hour rule भी काम नहीं आता है अगर टैलेंट नहीं है। मैंने अगर बहुत प्रैक्टिस्ड एक्टर को स्क्रीन के सामने डाल दिया और उसके अंदर टैलेंट नहीं है, ऑडियंस उसको देखती नहीं है। फिर आप बहुत समय देखते हो ना, लोग बोलते हैं बहुत अच्छा एक्टर है, लेकिन all his stuff is flop. Right? I don't want to take the names, but there are a lot of actors like that.
Yeah, but we all know many of those names.
Right. So they're very good actors, but nothing works. But there comes a absolutely untrained Salman Khan or a Shah Rukh Khan who not really trained that hard, but they do well because they've got raw talent of some sort, right? Which they should have maybe practiced more to become very good actor, but that's forgettable. At least they have some talent. So how do you recognize that talent without any bias? So when I recognize talent, it is from my experience of finding talent. That's what I have to do, right? I have to continuously see auditions and select people. I have to select a good singer. I have to select a good. I'm under pressure to do that all the time. Find a new writer. But still, I mean, yeah, I do use a process, but a lot of it, people do it only out of gut feel and experience. So in every field, how are people choosing people? Are they using an algorithm actually consciously? So we found no. And this became a good point for my daughter, because my daughter, she went to US to study math and biology. And she had no plans to go to US initially. She was studying in India. And first year BSc, she did in Sofia. And then she said, no, I have to go to US because you know what? In India, you don't allow people to do biology and math together. You have to drop one. There is nothing that allows you. That permutation combination does not exist. So she didn't want to give up. She gave up math for 1 year and then she studied biology and she was unhappy. She said, I have to do math also. I can't give up math. Math is like, more I don't do math, I realize math is my thing. I have to do it. So I said, okay. So then she applied and she found a college and she went there and she picked a double major in math. So while doing that, she asked her professors in maths department, do they have a system by which they pick who has mathematical talent? Can they tell? And they said, no, I mean, if you ask us, we'll tell you some things that should be there in a math talent, but we don't really have a system. We don't know. So this is then shouldn't we build an algorithm for that? I said, try. Nobody has ever succeeded in doing it. So she said, okay, we'll build. So then she came to me and she said, how do you see talent? So I collaborated with her and then within a year, we were able to build 26 algorithms for 26 different talent and they all became like a software. We had a Silicon Valley company develop the software for it. And Prometheus is there and you know, it's in 2018, government of Jharkhand selected it as one of its startups. So of course now the government has changed and we are not actually receiving any support from them. But it's like one of the selected startups of the government of Jharkhand. And I went back to Ranchi because I wanted to give something back to Jharkhand. So I didn't register it in Mumbai and I, much against my daughter's wishes, I registered it in Jharkhand. And then we were selected also. So I told her, see, listen, Jharkhand is going to be good, but that has not yet happened. But the algorithms are there. And before COVID, we had started applying it to corporates. Many schools, some thousands of students have been tested on it. And big companies like, you know, ACC Cements and stuff like that, they were all Gujarat Ambuja and all. They were already using it Edelweiss. They had started using their leadership teams के ऊपर उनके जो schools है उसमें at some point it will start getting deployed. It's a fantastic thing. In 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, there's a simple questionnaire that a kid can answer and instantly we can tell what is the talent of that child. And then we can grade it. Then we can tell what exactly it has to do. So I'm saying, again, we were told when we started that it can't be built. So we went and built it. And not really knowing if there is going to be any money at the end of the line or not. Sometimes caring about the money part, you know, they keep talking about product market fit and they talk about is this going to be profitable? Sometimes we get bogged down by that and then we don't do the things that really need to be done. You know, I think you can't really predict what will be successful in life. If you had to do that, then you can't even have children ever because you don't know if your children are going to be successful. No one can predict that my child is going to.
I guess some issue with your audio.
My audio?
Now it's clear. Yeah.
No, I was just saying that if we cannot take, we say that, you know, we should be risk averse, but in the end, we all have children, right? When we have children, that's the biggest risk we take, right? Because we don't know how our children are going to turn out. We don't know how we'll be able to raise them properly or not. We don't know anything, but we have children. And if we didn't have children, we will not be. I think Elon Musk keeps talking about it. You must have as many children as possible. Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest risks that a man takes, more than any startups, more than any business. Your children are your biggest experiment, right? Are they going to work out or not? You don't know, but you still love them and you try to do your best with them and you go ahead and have children. So, and I think most people don't reflect on this part of their life that, wait, I had a child. I already took a big risk. So don't tell me that I have to play safe. You can't play safe. There is no safety in anything.
This is something which I call unusual part of Abhigyan Jha, because this is not we am really thought of. And this is a fact.
Yeah. So, and I'll tell you why I say that. Okay. So, Mrinal and I were 7 years in a relationship from the time I was 17 years old. And Suddenly in 95, she was pregnant. And that's how we got married, because initially there was no, she was against the whole institution of marriage and stuff, and she didn't want to marry at all, right? But the kid made, the parents then forced her into marriage. Said, you must get married to the guy at least now that you have a child. So, I remember my wedding, and before the wedding, my father and are you ready to be a father? Are you taking such a big, and our careers were hardly, they just started. Rajni had just started. We had done nothing so far. We had very little money, and we were bringing a kid into it. I got married when I was 23. So we said, no, we're doing it because you know what? It's kick-ass. It's such a new thing. And I remember अभी जो है ना, जो वागले की दुनिया में वागले हैं, जो पहले भी थे, अंजन श्रीवास्तव, he's my father's friend, and he came to the wedding and he asked me, विज्ञान इतनी मोटी लड़की से शादी क्यों कर रहे हो? So I was not able to tell him, wait, that's because she's 7 months pregnant. She's not actually moti. But I didn't want to tell him that because that would have been a chaos. Nobody knew. So we did, when that, a lot of people said, my God, it was 95, 1995. Okay, I see some of the people here are 95 batch. 95 May, a lot of people were not ready for a woman being pregnant when she's getting married and शादी के 2 महीने के अंदर बच्चा पैदा हो रहा है. It is like people told us it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. Well, एक तो ये बॉम्बे है, दूसरा कुछ नहीं, आज तक किसी ने कुछ नहीं बोला यार. Nobody raised a ever, and it was never a problem. I think the way you believe about it, that is how people also react to it. If you are not worried, I think they are also not worried. They get along with it. They fall in line with it. They see how you are going about raising your child. I don't know. At least it was not a problem for us. Neither did it affect my career. Neither did it affect Minal's career. He was working in Sony. He went right back to work, and it all worked out well, man. So you have to, in improv comedy, which is what I'm doing now with F6, we just launched on 2 days ago. You are given these topics on the spot. You don't know the topics, and you have to do comedy out of those topics, 4 or 5 words or situations that the audience gives you, and you have to make something out of it. And they have the best improv comedians are able to do it. And I think in life is a little bit like an improv comedy. Nothing comes really planned, and nobody gives you this everything exactly as it should be. And I mean, it can happen in a classroom, but it doesn't exist after that, right? After that, what you do with it, how well you play that, what comes in your hand, that's what matters. And I'll tell this to everyone, at least for me, what I've learned is this: outcomes. We run for outcomes a lot. And I know in business, you have to achieve outcomes in many things. Outcomes are important. But the way you go after the outcome is more important than the outcomes themselves. Because outcomes in life are not guaranteed. However much we tell, this is the playbook, man. This is how you will achieve this. It cannot be. Even a Steve Jobs could not do it. He got thrown out of his own company, right? The same man who came back and did it. When it will work out, you cannot tell. But you have to apply your mind, and you have to do your best, what you think is best for the given time, and slowly refine that what is best. And what is best is not the outcome. What is best is the way you do things. The way we do things is more important than the things themselves. I think बचपन में बोलते थे कि खेलना important है, जीतना नहीं. तभी समझ में नहीं आता था ठीक से. अभी समझ में आता है कि जीतना बहुत अलग चीज है. ठीक से खेलना is the most important thing. If you do all the things right, you go away from life with your head held high, and you feeling like you've accomplished a lot, even if you lose sometimes, right? So this web series that I showed you a clip from, I think उसके गाने में भी वो लाइंस था कि अगर तुम कुछ नहीं करोगे तो किसी को पता चलेगा भी नहीं कि तुमने वो किया है. तो इसलिए नहीं अगर मैंने किया और किसी ने सराहा नहीं, किसी ने देखा नहीं, sure, but if you don't do it, how will they know anyway? So you have to do it. You have to do it. And look at that web series itself. I started making it in 2020. It's a musical web series which stars some of the biggest television actors like Gaurav Khanna in it. And I have not been able to release it as yet. it's such an unusual story that a lot of platforms struggle with it to understand. I mean, I might have to release it on my own on multiple platforms, but on my own. It because it's new, it is not, it doesn't go by any particular show. They can't compare it with anything. It's a new thing. And the whole point of the show, and there's a Sumit Kaul only who's doing F6 with me, his character in the show has that line कि जो हो नहीं सकता अगर उसे करेंगे नहीं तो वो कैसे होगा है ना। वो तो तभी होगा ना, जो हो नहीं सकता उसके हम कोशिश करेंगे करने की, तभी तो वो होगा, नहीं तो कैसे होगा, हो ही नहीं सकेगा फिर। सो it's a 9-hour show with 28 original songs and absolutely new talent. New singers have sung it. Brand new songs, very content-driven songs. All the lyrics make sense. They're not like some Punjabi song, disco song that uska koi matlab nahi hai, सिर्फ गड्डी और शराब के बारे में नहीं बात हो रही है. So the way old songs were written, so it's a totally counterintuitive show to make today. But who will make, if I don't make it, who will make it? I mean, I can make crores of rupees making the same things that everyone wants me to make. And we do sometimes, we agree, and we have to also live. But periodically, and I think all the time, every year, like Janani this year, Janani AI ki kahani. I mean, imagine, AI is like the biggest thing happening in the world. And in Indian television and films, we've not really grappled with it. I mean, there is a film that came on earlier in the year, which was about one supposedly AI, but it didn't really delve into it. It didn't delve into the science. It didn't really tell children what it involves, right? Our show actually dealt a lot with the science, and it was on a channel like Dangal, which is all for the heartland, and they told us, गाँव में किसको समझ में नहीं आएगा, लेकिन they still allowed us to do, and I think we had huge ratings. And my heroine went to do a film near Banaras in a village, and all the kids and their mothers mobbed her, and they all calling Tara, Tara, Tara. Tum Tara ho ya Sitara, Tara ho ya Sitara, because Sitara is her lookalike robot. So the mothers said, हमको साइंस कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है, बच्चे लोग कुछ समझ में आता है, लेकिन हमको वो सब सीक्वेंस बहुत अच्छे लगते हैं. मतलब जो सीन्स होते हैं ना, वो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. वो अचानक रोबोट कैसे बनता है, वो ट्रांसफॉर्म होता है, वो अब सेल्फ खुद ही सीख जाता है, it's continuously learning, improving its own algorithm. So people understand, clones and robots and this and biotech, so many ideas that we put in kids' heads. It's like, I think, and Elon Musk was telling you, if there was no Star Trek, there would be no Elon Musk. वो देख के लोगों के दिमाग में स्पेस के लिए इतना जिज्ञासा पैदा होता है. सो कंटेंट का काम है कि पीरियोडिकली वो आपको बच्चों को इंस्पायर करे कुछ और. रिमेम्बर क्विज टाइम हुआ करता था हमारे टाइम पे, वो क्विज टाइम देख के हमें जनरल नॉलेज बढ़ाने की इच्छा होती थी. भाई क्विज टाइम जैसा कुछ ये आंसर्स हमें आने चाहिए. ऑफ कोर्स आज केबीसी है जिसमें तो आप पैसे भी देते हैं, इंसेंटिव. हमारे टाइम पे तो नहीं था. तो लेकिन सो but
I remember we used to wait for that Siddharth Basu का एक
yeah.
आता था.
Yeah, I mean, Siddharth Basu only went and did KBC, by the way.
Yeah,
He's the producer. He's the producer of KBC. So, but पैसे के लिए क्वेश्चन आंसर करना और just because you want to know all the stuff and answer करना, दोनों में बहुत फर्क है. So I think the kids should be inspired to just know about things, because they should know that if you know about a lot of things, then you have a bigger chance of dealing with life than if you know about a few things. So better to know as many things as you can, because you have that many more options, right? So my life has been about that. Always try to explore as many things as possible, as many good things as possible. A lot of people in my business do drugs. I never got to do drugs. I feel very bad about it sometimes. यार drugs नहीं किया यार, वो तो किसी को करना चाहिए था बचपन में. यंग एज निकल गया, अब कब करेंगे ये ड्रग्स तो छूट गया यार. सो होता है, वो भी एक तरह का एक्सपेरिमेंट होता है. आई एम नॉट सेइंग इट शुड नॉट बी डन. आई एम सेइंग yeah, that too maybe, but we didn't get to do that. We were so busy with so many other things that we were exploring, and we've been very lucky. Also, I must say that I feel very lucky that I actually got to do so many things, to be able to publish new writers, to be able to make a new software, to launch a first OTT-based thing and go around the world. I remember, going to Cannes and IBM people coming to my stall and saying, "Wait, what is this? This is an OTT show. Fuck, nobody. I mean, even in US, nobody is making because तब तक Netflix ने अपना original show नहीं बनाया था. Netflix was only carrying other people's shows. So they said, this is the future, man. And we were on the IBM stall. They took the show and Jai Hind वो लोग IBM के stall में play कर रहे थे. So I mean, insane things like that. I'll end it. I think I'm towards the end of my time, right? Am I not?
Yeah, probably. We are moving towards the end of the
How
time.
am I doing to the time, Satyam? How am I doing for time?
No, it's fine. You can take like 10-15 minutes.
Okay. So I'll just talk about this one thing. And again, just because I talked about Cannes, I remember this. So we were in Cannes in, I think the year was 2011. And so I went into a talk by the CEO of Ericsson, who was speaking there. And one of the best speeches I've ever heard. Okay. There were two people, the CEO of Shazam who was speaking, Shazam, which is now acquired by Apple, which is the application for any song playing and you press Shazam and it tells you which song it is. And this actually started before the dot-com bust happened, and Shazam somehow survived. It was still there in 2011, and Apple had still not bought, but they were surviving. So his story was, how do you survive when you're not really making much money? So how do you take and keep on to your dream? That was a very interesting one. And of course, then he finally sold to Apple, which is a good result for him. But the Ericsson CEO was the keynote. And one of the things that he said there has blown my mind, and it is less to do with content and more to do with technology. He said the SMS was invented in the 60s. Okay. And till 1997, there was no business case for SMS. Okay. And I remember another magnificent moment, because the guy from Nokia who is the first person to have thought of a business model for SMS, he was there in the audience. And like me, he wears hats. So he became a very good friend of mine, Finnish guy. And he stood up and said, "Thanks to me, man. And this is what I told them in 97. He said, "Yeah, I know you, Kimi." So he said, human beings don't always use the technology that is always there in front of them. No one understands what to do. And usually the stuff that is invented, the future has already been invented 25 years ago. The common population and actual usage of technology is behind by 25 years. So, and at that time, he outlaid some of the absolute stunning stuff that is just coming now, because now it's about 13, 14 years into it, from AI to biological pills to nanomolecules that would regulate your body. I mean, doctors are about to go obsolete in like maybe any time, because the technology was there in 2011. It's just the government has to agree. Okay, you don't need a doctor. You'll have a molecule that you will just take a capsule in 1 month. That molecule will be inside your body. It will be in your bloodstream, monitoring everything in your body, and that molecule will communicate with your phone and your doctor's phone, and it will alert them about every damn thing about this person, every human being. And so there is no way you're going to get a heart attack. You will know about it way before. There is no way you're going to get a sugar spike. There is nothing that will happen to your body, because right now internally we are blind. We don't know what is happening inside our body. Here you will know. You will also stop eating crap, because it will alert you what it does to you when you eat it. So because right now you don't see what is going on inside, so you're happy to put that extra samosa inside you. But it is so. He gave a lot of examples. He gave examples of how mobile technology was invented but not allowed to happen. He gave the example of this thing, 16:9 television, HD, which Philips invented in 92, and then it was not allowed to be rolled out by the government till about 10 years later, HDTV, because it would have disrupted everything too much. So the amount of disruption that can happen by technology is exponential.
In fact, Abhigyan, sorry to interrupt, even in the industry where I am for the last 25 years, you see a lot of disruptions happening now. The electric vehicle, which is being talked about right now, in maybe early 1900 something, it was already there.
Correct.
But that time it was not being promoted by the government or maybe by anyone, but it was already there. So
in fact, you're from the car industry, so I give this example a lot. I mean, Edison who was the biggest figure at that time. And Edison was all about electricity. So Edison wanted an electric car. I mean, one of the reasons Ford went for a gasoline car because he didn't want to be dependent on Edison, because he thought if I make a car which which is powered by electricity, then I will not be the important player, it will be Edison. So
Yeah.
so it was more of a business idea that he used. And I mean, trams were the big thing there at that time. So everyone expected the cars to be electric. It was made. The electric engine was built, and it was
Yeah,
this
it
car.
was there. It was there.
It
In
was there,
some
it
of
was
the
there.
countries, it was there already.
It was there already. And in 80s, when electric cars picked up again, that's what they said. I mean, in 80 years backwards we went. So the same technology revived. 86 May electric car was the same place that it was in 1908. So about 78 years, there was no development in that. उसमें से एक और example है. I'll give you an example. It has happened in history also earlier. So, Alexandria, which is the University of Alexandria, the Library of Alexandria, which Alexander had built the city Alexandria in Egypt. So it was called one of the biggest places of learning in the ancient history. So Alexandria the kings of Alexandria always maintained that thing, the top scientists of our time, the top brains of our time should come to Alexandria. So there was this guy in the 4th century AD. He built a steam engine. Okay. And the king gave him a shit ton of gold coins in appreciation and put the steam engine in the shelves of the library. And nobody used it. And years later, they found that steam engine in the shelves of Alexandria. So imagine what human society would be if the steam engine was used in the 4th century AD. Okay, we had to reinvent it after almost 1,000 years. So it is insane how things can be, how we respond to things, how somebody builds it. Somebody can be that ahead. I mean, everybody knows about Leonardo da Vinci and how far ahead you can be. You can't really see a guy like Leonardo and think that I will do this for some immediate profit. He knows that there cannot be an immediate profit. I mean, I'm all for profit. I'm not a socialist. I love the idea of profit because I know that profit can drive a person in like nothing else. And that's what, if you cannot have a market without that, and you need a market. If without a market, we are in a deep trouble because a socialist kind of planned thing is disastrous for humankind. You must have market, and so that you have freedom and other reasons. But at the same time, I think with the rise of entrepreneurship, I think a world that I prefer has already come to be, where people take risks, they build things, they go. Sometimes I remember Priyesh taking a big break between his two jobs, and I love the idea of people taking time off to go and figure out what they want to do next in life. I think that was not there at all, right? My grandfather worked in Tata 42 years. Okay, he didn't do anything else. Okay, so today I think people take sabbaticals, breaks, try to figure out what they're going to do next. They have lots of ideas. Everybody has something or the other cooking in their head. It's a great time in that sense to pursue all kinds of ideas in your head and be ready to fail for it. And I think the best thing that has happened, which I had to learn at a very hard cost, is now very popular, that it's okay to fail. You don't have to. I love telling the stories about all my failure. It doesn't need to be about my successes at all, because that I'm here still doing things, that's the biggest success. Not the fact that what actually made money for me and what actually made me famous or not. That I can try new stuff and I can still be here to tell you stories about it without getting wiped out. That I think is the best thing. I don't think this kind of a life was possible before liberalization, before technology. Could not. I mean, just imagine all our friends were in software. When we were studying in school, these guys would not have had a career. There was no software. And some of those software people are some of the have had the best career in the last 30 years. Right? And they did not have a career when we were studying. So you have to just imagine what is coming next. And so many things will happen in which right now you don't know. So embrace what you don't know. And I think what I think in management they say the known unknowns, unknown unknowns. The unknown unknowns are the largest segment, right? The unknown unknowns. I think I love playing in that unknown unknown thing, and that's what my life has been about.
Great, Abhigyan. It's a lot of insights. And one thing I am sure on a lighter side, my sales and marketing team, they follow you quite a bit because every month end they come back and say, Sir, process to सारा follow किया था, numbers नहीं हुए तो मैं क्या करूं?
For your employees, you don't want to hear that much.
Also, Abhigyan, I like the idea of your daughter's project, which is more to do with the AI-based talent, what you mentioned, because the auto industry is going through a big talent crunch right now, and I'll connect with you offline on this, how it can help the overall industry itself, because it's, again, the GDP of this country is driven by auto industry, and
Of course.
it's a big issue right now we are facing. So yes, that is something where I will connect with you offline. But wonderful session, Abhigyan. I think we can have more of such sessions because you have interesting things to share with us. But yes, I'll be now opening this session for any questions which people want to ask.
Abhigyan, I have no question, but I have a surprise for you. If you see on the screen, you have your old friend, Mr. Jaiswal here. So, Prashant,
Arre,
Man,
Prashant Jaiswal.
yeah, I've been trying to find him for a long time.
Prashant, you're on mute, I guess.
Hey guys, hi Priyesh, hi Abhigyan.
Hello, how are
Hey,
you?
good. Long time, mate. Long time. It's
Really
been
long
what?
time.
I would say more than 37 years, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I left from there in 84 end.
Yeah, you left in 84, almost like 39 years now, right? That's a
40
long
years in
time.
December. Almost 40 years.
Almost 40 years, yeah. Priyesh से तो मैं मिला था, I think last 2013 में, right, Priyesh?
13, 14, I think somewhere
13,
around
14
that.
when we
Yeah.
had the reunion, the 25th reunion we had in
Correct.
Calcutta, right? So I had come there. So that was the time when I met Priyesh, definitely. No,
I went
actually,
for
I'm coming to India.
17 में some reunion I went for. At that time, lot of them were there, but I think you were not there.
No, I came only for the 13, 14 one, like
Yeah.
13 February, I think, right? That's why. No, I'm coming to India again in December. Mid-December to mid-January, I'll be in Gurgaon and Ranchi. Okay. So definitely देखते हैं. But good to see you. I've been following you. So don't worry, I'm pretty proud, You're my claim to fame as well. Both of you actually, and definitely, I get the mention of Brinal as well, right? Your better half.
Definitely my better half.
Definitely. Obviously, you are not the better half, my friend. Actually, funny enough, we are not the better half. Whatever हम gold की वजह के फिर भी हम better half नहीं बन सकते हैं.
No, in my case, so definitely she also makes more money than me. So
Yeah.
definitely the better half.
And Priyesh, I'm following you as well. You had gone for some holidays with your kids as well. I think last year or year before, I think.
I think 2 years back.
2 years back.
Yeah.
I've been following you guys. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get in touch with you guys, but definitely now we are having a reunion again in February.
Okay.
Right. Are you going for that, Priyesh?
Not yet planned for that, but since you are coming, then maybe I can think.
नहीं मैं 12th of January को वापस आ रहा हूँ यार. So I'm there only for 5 weeks.
You're not coming to Bombay by any chance? No.
नहीं यार, बॉम्बे का प्लान बना था एक बार. Actually, last time बना था. I was trying to get in touch with Ratan Singh. Right, he's an IB. Right.
Ratan is not in Bombay now.
No.
No, he was in the airport. I met him at the airport.
Yeah, he's an IB. Right. Yeah. No, I'm talking about like 3 years back.
3-4 years back.
Yeah.
Before COVID, he was here.
Yeah. I was in transit. I was traveling to London via Mumbai. Right. इसलिए.
रतन सिंह कभी फोन ही नहीं उठाता यार. मैं तो फोन करता.
वो फोन नहीं उठाता यार. वो आईबी में है ना. वो पता नहीं वो क्या करता है. वो everything is like top secret. Like everything is secretive, right, for him about. That's why.
अरे तो मैं तो उसको कुछ टिप्स ही दूंगा ना यार. उससे टिप्स लूंगा थोड़ा.
You have to message him and say, I have something about Trudeau.
Good point. Yeah.
I think Anupam is also connected, na?
Anupam Paul.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello?
Anupam.
Anupam
Hey,
here.
Anupam's here as well, right?
Now,
I
which
don't know
Anupam?
whether Abhigyan remembers me.
Anupam, which one are you? Anupam Paul?
Paul
I'm
one,
Paul
Paul
one.
one.
Paul one.
Paul
Paul
one.
the
Wow.
first. Paul the first, the great
Paul the first.
doctor.
So
Actually,
I've been
funny enough, hey Anupam,
Hello.
good to see you, man.
good
So
to see you.
Anupam, okay, let me tell you a story. Like, myself, Anupam, Indranil Datta,
Yes.
and Mriganka, right? We met in 2012, I think, or 2014. I forgot.
Mriganka
When
also
was it?
for a long time.
Yeah, Anupam's in UK, but he's like up north, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's almost like 4-5 hours drive from my place,
Where? Which one? Where?
or maybe more. Where
Paul
are you,
one.
Anupam? Are you in Sheffield?
No, I'm in near Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough, right? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm down in London actually.
Hmm.
Good to see you. Yeah? You still have maintained the same weight and the
Good to
health
see
as
you.
well.
No.
तुम बैठे बैठे वहां से वेट भी देख लिया
नहीं उसका मैं पिछले बार जो देखा था वो वही वैसे ही लग रहा है, तो मुझे लगा वैसे ही होगा. अच्छा मेंटेन किया है हेल्थ यार. मैं तो अभी अगस्त में मेरा बकेट लिस्ट था कि आई शुड टच 100 kgs. So I touched 100 and now I'm coming down just to show my friends that 100 के बाद भी आप weight कम कर सकते हो. तो I have lost almost like I'm losing 1 kg every week now, so I'm come down to like 90 in last 2 months, तो मैं शो देख रहा हूँ कि अगले इस टाइम अगले मार्च तक hopefully I'll be down to 75 or 80. That would be good for me, right?
good.
प्रियेश तुम कहाँ पर हो? तुम गुड़गांव में हो या हैदराबाद में हो?
दोनों जगह नहीं हूँ मैं तीसरी जगह मुंबई में हूँ
मुंबई में. अच्छा मुंबई में हो. सही
I
है.
am in Mumbai for the last 13 years now. So I am with
अच्छा.
Jeep right now. Jeep India का head हूँ मैं.
I know. I've been
Prior to
following
this,
you.
पहले मैं Volkswagen में था.
Hmm.
When we met, I was with Volkswagen.
You are in Volkswagen, right?
Yeah. Then I
Okay.
took a break and then now again I joined Jeep
Right,
India.
right. Abhigyan, what's your new project?
No, that clip that I showed, that is my.
Oh no, I missed it. I joined a bit late actually.
So it's called the Socho Project. It's a musical show
Right.
about 7 musicians and singers who refuse to do covers. So our industry is in deep shit for the longest time because everybody is doing covers and remixes, and nobody is writing new songs. Songwriting has become dead. So from a
Yeah.
time when we had great songwriters like Sahir and all, we have stooped low enough that we don't have any lyricist of note. People are fitting the poems words into tunes, which used to never
Yeah.
happen before. So this the whole show is about a bunch of people who never put words to music, they put music to words. So the words come first. So the heart of it
That's
is
also a talent, actually. That's also a talent. I won't say it's a good one or a bad one because I'm not in that. Anyone who sings better than me, who can write better than me, is like better than me. Actually, anyhow.
singing. Singing is a talent that is it's a performance talent. So
Absolutely.
we have a lot of good singers in India. We don't have enough songwriters, and problem with singing talent is that that's not new. Your voice may be new, but
Yeah.
you can't create a new song by singing. You have
Maybe we have to borrow someone from Pakistan, right? They are good.
we
They are
have
good
it.
songwriters.
We don't encourage it. We
Yeah.
have
Why are you
I
going
know
to
it's political.
Pakistan, Prashant? Why are you going to Pakistan? Anupam used to sing a lot in our batch.
No, Anupam was singing or was it in tabla? Anupam?
I was mainly playing tabla.
तबला नहीं
You're
था
playing
सबकी
tabla,
बजा
right? I
वो
remember,
सबकी
yeah.
बजाता था बट गाना भी गाता था
I started singing after I was ragged in the college. Forced to sing.
You're forced to sing, right? Interesting. Great.
But I enjoy singing now.
No, definitely, yeah. It's good. Any plans of coming down to London, Anupam?
Yeah, I think you should meet again. I think it's high time. It's been a long time since we.
Yeah, it's been pretty long. Actually, I met Indranil. He keeps coming to Oxford, right? So I met him as well. Then I met Paul too as well because his son was here in London. He was studying in London, so he came down. So I met him a few times as well.
I have got now more reasons to go to London because my daughter has just got into admission in Imperial. So
Imperial, okay. I work for UCL.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
So I probably would make more trips to London now than I had
Good.
in the past.
Next time when you are here, please give me a shout. It will be nice to meet you after such a long time, right? Definitely.
I'm going there on the 22nd November.
ओ डेफिनेटली मिलते हैं ना, डेफिनेटली मिलते हैं. मैं दिसंबर फर्स्ट वीक में इंडिया जा रहा हूँ, तो उसके पहले डेफिनेटली इफ यू आर हियर देन विल डेफिनेटली कैच अप. राइट.
And I'm also going for the reunion.
मुंबई से भी लंदन के टिकट, मुंबई से भी
आई
लंदन
नो.
के टिकट
नेक्स्ट टाइम
मिलते
मैं
हैं.
क्या
हमें भी
करूंगा,
इनवाइट कर
एक
ले
काम
भाई.
करता हूँ. नहीं 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 प्रियेश, नेक्स्ट टाइम मैं क्या करूंगा, मैं ना मुंबई होके ही जाऊंगा, मैं ट्रांजिट होके लेके ही आऊंगा. ठीक है ना, नेक्स्ट टाइम.
बिल्कुल, लेट्स
आई
मीट इन
प्रॉमिस यू.
मुंबई.
मे बी
सारा
इन
ट्रांजिट
जून और
दिल्ली से
जुलाई.
करने का कोई मतलब नहीं है.
क्या चीज?
सारा ट्रांजिट दिल्ली से करने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. बॉम्बे से भी ट्रांजिट होता है.
नहीं नहीं होता है, लेकिन मेरे इन लॉज गुड़गांव में रहते हैं ना.
हाँ.
तो इट्स
But
इजियर
you are
दैट वे,
going to
राइट.
Ranchi also, no, Prashant, in
हाँ,
December?
रांची भी है.
Most
हाँ.
likely I'll be also in Ranchi. So
मैं
that is
मैं तो
there
रांची
also.
महीने के एंड में जा रहा हूँ रांची.
कब
मैं
जा
कल
रहे
जा
हो?
रहा हूँ.
I am going in the I think 22nd or 23rd. I have to go because I have to go to Jamshedpur for a wedding.
इन दिसंबर?
No, November.
अच्छा, नवंबर नहीं, मैं दिसंबर में रांची में रहूंगा, टुवर्ड्स एंड ऑफ द मंथ, राइट, एंड ऑफ दिसंबर, राइट. लास्ट 10 days of 12 14 days I'll be in Ranchi.
So maybe at that time we can meet Prashant.
अरे डेफिनेटली यार,
Okay.
it will be such a, you know, yeah, definitely
Next time
definitely
we'll
Priyesh,
have to.
Priyesh, I still remember you were my neighbor in the what Sadhananand. What was the dham? Below Mathri Dham. What was the name of that dham?
Shardanand Dham.
खंडन.
Sardanand Dham. Huh?
साधन. हाँ.
And we are both responsible for the audio-visual equipment. Well, before
कितनी
every program, me and Priyesh used to set up all the microphones and
And
other.
half of the times the things were not working.
वो बता
So
मेरे को, शंकरदा से कितनी बार पिटाई हुई थी वो बताओ पहले.
अरे, but Sankarda is no more, I guess. No?
I know he passed away, I think.
Passed away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, but
Okay.
we have good fond memories of Vidyapit. Means
Mm.
and whenever we meet,
Absolutely.
it's very nostalgic.
I still remember you went for that South Indian trip and you had a photograph with Meenakshi Shetty in the shooting of Shahanshah.
Shahanshah. Also with Amitabh Bachchan, yeah.
Yeah. And Priyesh, we are having this reunion in February, and I think all of you should come.
In fact, I am not aware of this because I am not a part of that group. So
I think
if one of
people
you
are
can
trying
add
to
me.
find your number. People are trying to contact you, and we're trying to. Actually, we are putting messages. If anybody has Priyesh's number, please contact him. So if you can, I don't know if you can share your number, then we'll send you all the details.
So you
I'm
can
also
just
going
see,
for that.
I've
coming
already
for
shared
the.
in my chat right now, Anupam.
Mm-hmm.
So next time,
Okay.
maybe whenever you get a chance, add me to that group because I am not connected right now.
Yeah. So we'll. I'm also coming for that reunion. So
Then I'll come.
We have already enlisted about 29,
last time
30.
during that reunion, I had organized for a Volkswagen display. This time there will be a Grand Cherokee display maybe.
So we have already enlisted almost 30 of us.
Okay,
so
so
it will be a good number.
Yeah, just add me to the group. I'll also
Is there anyone else who has any questions or whatever?
Yeah, I've got a question for you, Abhigyan.
Follow.
Yeah, class 8 में तुम वापस बॉम्बे क्यों भाग गए थे, ये बताओ, बिना बताए किसी को.
I said, I think you joined late. I was explaining that. One was that my asthma was getting.
Actually, we were trying to get. I was trying to get in touch with you for a long time. Didn't have your number, and I'm sure you were. I think we were quite close, at that time. But,
Yeah.
But I felt a bit like, obviously there was like, you went away all of a sudden, right? So.
No mobile.
पता नहीं चला.
Stay in touch with people. Yeah. I went because of my asthma, and of course I had some domestic problems in my house because my parents were separating. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
I mean, now they're back together after all these years.
Okay.
They actually live with me. So.
Oh, that's great. That's cool. Good.
So, but mostly because of cricket. Also, the two reasons.
Apna cap hataao.
I have a lot of hair. If you're wanting, I have tremendous amount of hair.
I'm losing hair actually big time. Can you see? I've got alopecia now, right? So
I have been trying to lose hair for a longest time, but I can't lose. This is what.
तुम लोग कितने बुड्ढे हो यार.
अरे
प्रियरंजन
तू भी आ गया. अरे
तब से मैं सुन रहा हूँ क्या ये
अरे प्रियरंजन से अभी मैं पिछले हफ्ते मिला हूँ, फिर 2 हफ्ते पहले मिला हूँ प्रियरंजन से.
अरे प्रियरंजन, मैं तब से चले तुम्हारा फोटो एनलार्ज करके देख रहा हूँ कि वही है या कोई और है, चेहरा बदल गया तेरा।
ये
नहीं,
आया,
प्रियजन लंदन आया हुआ था।
वो था 17 में भी आया था ना, प्रियरंजन was there in 17 when I came. No, you were not there. You were there, no? 17 when we met in Devgar.
तुम आए थे उसमें?
17 वाले में तो आया था ना मैं, जब सब था, दुर्गातोष वगैरह सब आए थे ना।
एज हो रही है, भूल रहे। बट नो, आई डोंट थिंक आई हैव मेट यू इन एजेस अभिज्ञान।
बट कैन यू बिलीव इट, लाइक टिक्कू की आवाज क्या एकदम भारी हो गई है ना, जैसे वो
हाँ,
बचपन में जो था एकदम सॉफ्ट, एंड ही वाज वेरी सॉफ्ट, नाउ ही इज लाइक कंप्लीटली ऑपोजिट, लाइक वो आया मिला, मैं बोला यार ये कौन बंदा है यार, हाई फ्लायर हो गया है, ग्लोब ट्रॉटर हो गया है बंदा
अबे
एकदम।
तुम कंफ्यूज कर रहे हो किसी और के साथ।
अबे तेरे से नालायक, तेरे से ही मिला था ना अभी
वो
2 हफ्ते 3
प्रियरंजन
हफ्ते
नहीं है, वो
पहले।
प्रियेश कुमार है।
अरे नहीं
नहीं
भैया,
वो
हम
तो
तो
है,
देसी
अरे वो
आदमी
तो,
हैं।
अरे भाई वो तो देखो, प्रियेश, तुम, दुर्गातोष, राजकुमार, ये तुम लोग अलग लीग में हो भाई।
अच्छा
हाँ।
लिसन, आई जस्ट केम इन टू से हाई, क्योंकि वो पालवन का मैसेज देखा। मेरे घर में यार बहुत सारे गेस्ट हैं, तो आई नीड टू गो, बट सो गुड टू सी ऑल ऑफ यू यार।
Same here, Priyanjan, and let's meet when I am in Hyderabad or you are in Mumbai.
जल्दी आ, जल्दी आ।
लास्ट टाइम तुम आया था बॉम्बे, मैं नहीं आ पाया था, बट मिलते हैं।
कोई नहीं, कभी। बाय पालवन, अभिज्ञान,
बाय।
प्रियेश, जैसू।
यार मेरा नाम भी बोल दो यार।
जैसू बोला प्यार से
अच्छा
यार।
जैसे बोला, अच्छा ठीक है।
And Abhigyan, next time if I come to Mumbai, I'll try and look for you.
Sure, sure.
So where you stay? Where you guys live? Abhigyan and Priyesh in
They're
Mumbai.
both in Kandivali East.
Acha, so very close to each other, right?
Yeah, we are across the
Not very
road.
far.
Across the road, but we met, I think, almost 10 years back.
अच्छा, okay, good. मतलब वो रोड बहुत चौड़ा है, right?
है, चौड़ा है
It's
वैसे।
very difficult to cross the road. I understand that, yeah.
बॉम्बे के हिसाब से वो रोड बहुत चौड़ा है।
But it's a
नहीं,
very
definitely.
nice initiative. I don't know who. I am attending this for the first time, this Adda. And maybe thanks Satyam for at least inviting me, and Abhigyan for recommending my name as the moderator, because I could find so many of my good friends on this call, and I'm actually feeling very nostalgic. Abhigyan पता चला
नहीं,
कैमरा लेके शूट भी
I would
करने
say
लगा
thanks
मेरे
to Ritesh. He takes a lot of pain, right?
Yes.
To get everyone in touch. Hats
One
off
thing
to
I'd
his
like to,
efforts.
tell to Abhigyan, I really, um, I adore you, how brave you are. It's very difficult to tread. It's very easy to tread a, usual path like becoming a doctor, engineer, and all those things. And to do something different, you need a lot of courage and guts. And my
No,
kudos
that's
to
pure
you.
passion, right?
Hmm?
That's pure passion he has followed.
Yeah, this
Which
really,
is
really
great.
great. It's I really admire the way you have carved your career. It's really, really, something to learn from it.
अभिज्ञान, एक चीज बता, हमारे किसी सीरीज में मतलब हीरो के बाप का रोल है तो?
यार ये तो रजनीश हमेशा पूछते रहता
अरे
है।
रजनीश है ना, रजनीश कर रहा है ना अभी, रजनीश कर रहा था ना।
रजनीश ने तो मिड करियर चेंज कर लिया है, वो एक्टर बन
हाँ,
गया।
वो अभी कोई शुक्राचार्य का भी रोल कर रहा था
वो
रजनीश।
मेरे को रोज भेजता है कुछ ना कुछ ऑडिशन अपना, वो देख मैं ये भी कर रहा हूँ, मुझे कब ले रहा है तू? इट्स लाइक,
अरे ले लो उसको यार, बेचारा।
रजनीश ने मेरे साथ, मैं एक दिन रजनीश के घर पे ही था, आई स्टेड एट हिज प्लेस कपल ऑफ इयर्स बैक। होल नाइट मींस वी डिस्कस्ड। वो उस समय ना नारी अत्याचार पे कुछ कुछ सीरीज बना रहा था, मतलब छोटे छोटे स्निपेट्स सॉर्ट ऑफ। एंड यू आर आस्किंग प्रियेश, हम लोग मिलकर नहीं इसको बनाते हैं, यूट्यूब पे डालेंगे, ये करेंगे। मैं बोला भाई थोड़ी दिन मेरी नौकरी बची है, हो जाने दे, फिर हम लोग बनाएंगे साथ में। बट ही इज क्वाइट पैशनेट अबाउट दैट मीन्स, जब भी बात करो ना, ही विल ऑलवेज टॉक अबाउट, या तो विद्यापीठ की बात करेगा या फिल्म की बात करेगा।
वो तो बचपन से ही एक्टिंग का उसको कीड़ा था।
हाँ वो तो था ही,
है ना।
हम लोग का जो ड्रामा कंपटीशन होता था उसमें हमेशा हीरो बनता था।
हाँ, वो हीरो ही बनता था।
उसको हीरो, उसीलिए मुझे उसको
मुझे
चीज के लिए बुलाने में डर लगता है कि वो हीरो के नीचे मानेगा नहीं।
मुझे ये भी याद, मुझे ये भी याद है,
अभी।
प्रशांत तुझे भी याद होगा, हम लोगों ने क्लास 4 या 5 में एक ड्रामा किया था, जहाँ
हाँ, मैं उसका बेटा बना।
तुम महाराणा प्रताप पे कुछ बना था, और स्केल
हाँ,
तेरा टूट गया था, तलवार जिसको बना के घूम
करेक्ट,
रहे
राइट तेरे।
थे। और मैं अपना स्क्रिप्ट भूल गया था, और पीछे से मुझे प्रॉम्प्ट कर रहा था, फिर हम लोग, इट वाज
नहीं,
समथिंग ग्रेट।
एब्सोल्युटली। नहीं नहीं
मुझे अभी तक एक डायलॉग याद है। उस एक मूवी बनी थी, एक ड्रामा किया था तो क्लास 5 में। उसमें ऐसा था, चुप हो जा गधे का औलाद। तो उसमें था, औलाद तो मैं आप ही का ऊपर।
नहीं नहीं, he was very much inspired by movies at that time as well. वो खुद ही स्टोरी कितने कौन सी मूवी देख के आता था वहां की स्टोरी, अच्छा ये भी लिखती, इसी के ड्रामा करते हैं। तो कोई तो एक ड्रामा था जिसमें वो बना था, मैं उसका बेटा बना था।
उस समय प्रशांत सबसे छोटा हुआ करता था हाइट में।
हाँ, मैं हाइट में बहुत, आई वॉज वेरी शॉर्ट दैट टाइम, वेरी वेरी शॉर्ट।
And Abhigyan, I remember you wearing glasses when I my last
He was very
recollection of
lean
you.
and thin, right? Abhigyan was very lean and thin.
He was very lean and thin and wearing glasses.
एंड प्रशांत को मैं एक चीज के लिए आज भी थैंक्स बोलना चाहूंगा। स्टैंडर्ड 5 में 2 बार दिवाली थी। सो इन वन ऑफ द दिवाली हमें छुट्टी नहीं दी गई थी, जो कि मेन दिवाली थी। और मैं वो एक छोटा सा लहसुन बम होता था ना, जो पटको तो बजता है। सो पोस्ट डिनर मिथिलेश महाराज वाज कमिंग फ्रॉम दैट साइड।
अच्छा, ओके ओके ओके, लीव
मैंने
इट,
मैंने
अरे
ऊपर
छोड़
से
यार।
पटाखा फेंका। महाराज जी अंदर आए, आके मेरे से पूछते हैं, अभी कौन यहाँ पटाखा फोड़ रहा था? मैं बोला कि कौन पटाखा फोड़ा महाराज, ऐसा तो मैंने कुछ सुना नहीं है। नेक्स्ट ही वेंट टू प्रशांत। प्रशांत मेरे को बोला, यार मैं बोल देता हूँ तुमने फोड़ा था, बट मैं ऐसे गुड फ्रेंड।
नहीं नहीं, एक्चुअली हुआ क्या था कि ही कॉल्ड एवरीवन कि भाई सबकी पिटाई होने वाली है, कोई सच बोल दो। तो प्रियेश वाज देयर, मैं बोला चल मैं बोल देता हूँ यार, इट्स ओके। तो आई गॉट द फर्स्ट हिट बेसिकली, बट ठीक है यार, वो चलता है
नहीं नहीं
उससे
नहीं,
क्या।
कहानी यहाँ शुरू होती है। इसको तो पिटाई पड़ गई। फिर
उसके बाद
मिथिलेश महाराज ने
सबकी
इससे
पड़ी।
पूछा कि तू जब फोड़ा था तो हाँ आसपास कौन था? तो बोला प्रियेश था। उसके बाद मेरे को बाहर नवंबर दिसंबर की रात मिथिलेश महाराज ने खड़ा कर दिया कि भाई तू अब बाहर ही खड़ा रहे। पर लॉट ऑफ सच इंसिडेंट्स यार, मतलब हम लोगों ने काफी मस्ती करी थी।
And imagine, I thought Mithilesh Maharaj was the nice one.
ही वाज द
नो नो,
नाइस
ही
वन।
वाज नाइस वन, यू नो बट एक्चुअली वो एक बार क्या हुआ था, आई थिंक कौशिक, वो रामकृष्ण अखंडा धाम के पीछे जो मैनग्रोव था, राइट, वहां पर आम का पूरे पेड़ थे। तो वहां पर कौन था, आई थिंक प्रियेश तुम थे, किसी ने तो था जो उसने पत्थर फेंका आम तोड़ने के लिए, और वहां पर कौशिक पीछे खड़ा, अरे मैं पकड़ लूंगा आम, और पत्थर उसके सर पे लगा, सर फूट गया उसका।
मस्ती की है हम लोगों ने यार।
मिथिलेश महाराज का टिक्की पकड़ के कोई लटक गया।
मैं किया था भाई, वो मेरा कॉपी चेक कर रहा था, मैं पीछे सर पे ऐसे ऐसे टिक्की के पास हाथ घुमा रहा था। अचानक वो ऐसे सर किया तो ठक।
उसका हाथ।
मैं अपने बच्चों को बोलता हूँ ना कि उस स्कूल का कोई ऐसा टीचर नहीं है जिसने मुझ पे हाथ नहीं उठाया हो। मैं लालदा से मार खाया हूँ, दुर्गेश दा से मार खाया हूँ। तो
दुर्गेश सर का वो स्टोरी पता है क्या? हम लोग क्लास में थे ना, जो हिंदी पढ़ा रहे थे, और वो
पाइप
क्या
से
नाम
जो
था,
पानी
देव
गिरा
कुमार
था।
नंदी।
So Ritesh,
देव कुमार नंदी की पिटाई हो रही थी, और वो भाग रहा था बचने के लिए, तो वो डेस्क के ऊपर चढ़ा तो दुर्गेश जी डेस्क के ऊपर, वो डेस्क के नीचे तो दुर्गेश डेस्क के नीचे। मतलब चूहे बिल्ली टॉम एंड जेरी वाला खेल चल रहा था। बाद में पकड़ ही लिया उसकी, जो पिटाई हुई उसके बाद, यू नो।
Ritesh, tell me one thing. What about your batch? Was your batch as bad as this, or was it better?
नहीं नहीं, हमारा
रितेश का
बैच
वैसे तो
सीधा
बहुत ही
सा।
अच्छा था।
हमारा बैच, आप लोग का स्टोरी सुनते हैं तो मीन्स।
नहीं, आई थिंक, नहीं नहीं, आई वाज गोइंग टू से थैंक रितेश, थैंक्स अ लॉट फॉर ऑर्गेनाइजिंग दिस
I think
अड्डा थिंग, राइट,
रितेश के टाइम
यू नो।
तक बैचेस बहुत अच्छे हो गए होंगे, बिकॉज
नहीं नहीं, आई थिंक
अभी मैं
1990
गया
वाला
था
जो
जब
बैच
ना
था ना।
2017 में, when I went in 17, I looked at the kids. They looked like they're very nice kids. They are not like us. I
नहीं
remember
नहीं,
us. We were like unruly assholes. Okay.
1990 का बैच सबसे अनरूली था, एंड वेरी आई वुड से गट्सी बैच, आई वुड से। they went against the faculty actually,
Wow.
right?
1990 में हमसे 2 साल बाद।
हाँ, 2 साल बाद,
मेरा
हाँ
मेरा भाई जिसमें था।
हाँ,
Oh,
तुम्हारा भाई था उसमें ना, राइट।
परितोष पांडे था।
हाँ, परितोष
आशीष पांडे
पांडे,
था।
कोई दिवाकर करके भी लड़का था ना उसमें,
बालाजी दिवाकर था।
बालाजी दिवाकर, राइट,
बालाजी
हाँ।
वेंकटेश गोपेश दिवाकर, याद नहीं है उसका? लिस्ट में नाम लिखता था बालाजी एटसेट्रा लिखते थे वहां पे। इतना
पता नहीं,
स्पेस ही
याद
नहीं
तो नहीं
होता
है
था
शेख।
उसमें।
हाँ, बट वो वाला बैच,
बट ही इज
राइट।
कनेक्टेड विथ मी, ही इज इन क्लास उसमें। ही इज अ CFO देयर, क्लास
ओके,
मशीनरी में।
ग्रेट,
आई एम कनेक्टेड।
कूल, गुड गुड।
Good, yeah. We had
Yeah.
a very nice time, and let's make it more often. Let's meet more often. And
Yeah,
thank
definitely. Abhigyan, stay in touch, please. It will be nice, right?
Yeah, I don't have your number and I'm not in the group. You know, I got thrown out of the group, right?
नहीं नहीं मैं मेरा नंबर मैं अभी कर देता हूँ. Let me text my number in the chat.
Because of my non-left leaning views, I got thrown out of the group.
It's okay. Don't worry about that.
No, I'm absolutely okay.
Everyone has got their own views, right? If they like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. As simple as that, right?
But
you can't force someone to like you.
the admin is
It comes from within.
the admin is left leaning, then you can't do anything.
It's okay. It's fine. कोई बात नहीं यार. ठीक है. Take a pinch of salt and move.
अरे मुझे तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता भाई.
I know.
We are in media. We have been dealing with the leftists for a very long time.
You have been dealing with a lot of flack as well, right?
We have had to deal with leftists all our life. So it is finally that we have the upper hand after 30, 40 years of dealing with them. And now they're never coming back again. Anyone who's a leftist now is history is against them, not me. So that's it.
Your better half's in the call as well, right?
One, huh?
Your better half's in the call. Mrinal is the call as well, right?
No, Mrinal is not on the call. Mrinal ka group ID हमारा, that's the name of our company.
अच्छा, group ID, अच्छा, okay. मैं वही
Mrinal Abhigyan Jha is the name of our company now. Because that's her full name. So she's a big brand in television, so we use her name only.
Okay. All right. Cool. नहीं, good to see you guys, And
Anyone
Ritesh,
else
once
have any
again.
questions? Who's Manas? Manas कौन है? I see someone called Manas.
Maybe Manas Mandal, Manas.
Manas, Devanshu.
Devanshu is here. Acha, Abhigyan. Before we wrap up, Devanshu is also based in Mumbai. Devanshu, he is also in the similar kind of work. He
Devanshu is in movies, na? I think both the brothers are there.
Yes, so Devanshu, if you're still there, if you want to share something with Abhigyan or get in touch with him later on.
हाय
it will be
दादू
good.
साहब.
Hi.
हाय. मैं सुन रहा था मुझे काम के बीच में रितेश दा ने मैसेज किया, रिमाइंड कराया, तो मैं आ गया आप लोगों को सुनने के लिए. इट वाज अ लवली सेशन और काफी मतलब सीनियर्स थे तो सुनने में मजा ही आ रहा था.
That's good to know. Seniors को सुनने में मजा आता है.
हाँ, मतलब मैं तो ट्रेंड हूँ ना, बड़ा भाई. My best friend is my elder brother. He is Satyanshu and me, Devanshu. We are brothers and we are filmmakers. हमने अपनी पहली फिल्म बनाई थी चिंटू का बर्थडे, जो बिहार के फैमिली इराक में
देखा था मैंने, काफी अच्छी मूवी थी. I have seen that.
और एक 14 फेरे बनाई है, उसमें भी बिहार की फैमिली है और विक्रांत मैसी है, कृतिक हरबंदा है. बिहार के एक एक्टर हैं विनीत जी, जो सीनियर एक्टर थे, टीवी वगैरह करते थे. तो वो
उनका रोल भी काफी अच्छा था. He was quite influential.
और अभी मृणाल अभिज्ञान दा बोल रहे थे कि ओरिजिनल सॉन्ग्स के बारे में मैं पूरी तरह रेजोनेट कर पा रहा था, बिकॉज माय लेटेस्ट शो विच रिलीज्ड ऑन जियो सिनेमा 12 सितंबर, उसमें भी 22 ओरिजिनल सॉन्ग्स हैं और वो म्यूजिक इंडस्ट्री के इस खलबली पे ही आधारित है, जो आर्टिस्ट और लेबल्स को के बीच का जो लड़ाई उसके ऊपर. बट इट वाज फन लिसनिंग टू यू गाइस.
गुड
जी. मुझे पता नहीं था प्रियेश दा आप जीप में है. मैं 3 साल से जीप का प्राउड कस्टमर रहा हूँ.
अरे यार.
हाँ.
और तुम्हारे सर्कल में किसी को जीप लेना हो तो बता देना, नौकरी बचाने के लिए बेचनी जरूरी है मेरे.
हाँ, इनफैक्ट विनीत जी ने मुझे रिकमेंड किया था. विनीत जी जो बिहार के एक्टर हैं, 14 उन्होंने बोला था कि आप
भाई साहब नौकरी आप देते हो सबको, अपनी बचानी नहीं है. समझ रहे हो ना प्रिय?
यही तो पर्सपेक्टिव होता है भाई.
यही तो पर्सपेक्टिव है, वही तो बता रहा हूँ कि आप नौकरी देते हो सबको इंडिया में.
अरे नौकरी देने के लिए पहले बेचना पड़ता है भाई.
अरे उसने बेच लिया बहुत भाई, अब इस पोजीशन पे है कि वो नौकरी देता है.
I understand his here also.
I know. I understand as well. Definitely, where he's coming from.
Country is pretty unforgiving.
Everyone's unforgiving, यार. क्या करे, सबका वही हाल है, हर कंट्री का वही हाल है. आप किसी भी कंट्री में चल जाओ, There's a guy who's Satyam.
Hi, I am Satyam, sir. I volunteer for this Adda sessions.
Which batch you are from, Satyam?
2011 class 10.
Oh, अच्छा, okay, 2011. अभी तुम तो बच्चे हो बहुत, अभी recent है बहुत.
इनफैक्ट मेरा इंटरेक्शन सत्यम से ही सुबह हो रहा था मतलब ही वाज सेंडिंग मी मैसेज 10 मिनट पहले ज्वाइन कर लेना, ये कर लेना, वो कर लेना, बड़ा अच्छी बात है. अदरवाइज अगर मैं और अभिज्ञान को मुझे और अभिज्ञान को कनेक्ट करना होता तो अभी शायद हम कनेक्ट कर रहे होते अभिज्ञान आफ्टर डूइंग ऑल दोस रिहर्सल्स एंड अदर थिंग्स.
Ritesh, how do you find the time to do this, man?
I enjoy it. अभिज्ञान जैसे आप लोगों ने बोला कि विद्यापीठ का memories and it's very close to us, so we try to find time weekends.
नहीं, Ritesh has been very active in this, and that's the thing. Thanks to Ritesh and his effort, how he has tried to get everyone together, right? It's amazing. Hats off to you, Ritesh.
I also keep wondering, how does Ritesh get all the time to organize all these things?
Hey, but this is a nice platform.
And he's very focused and very disciplined, right? I know him because he was in London for some time as well, right?
Oh, I thought he's still in London. Where are you now?
Luxembourg.
Sorry, Luxembourg.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think good. And next time
Abhigyan, you know Rishi Virmani?
Who?
Rishi Virmani. Rishi.
I think I know this guy.
He's a story writer. I think Lust 2 का story writer भी है, plus Chini Kam
I
का
met
भी
him
है.
once. I think I've met him once or twice somewhere. I don't really.
Okay.
I'm not that active in films. I mean, I'm returning to.
अच्छा, Devanshu, do you know him as well? Have you heard of him?
I heard of him definitely.
Okay.
या आपको क्या चाहिए आप बताइए?
नहीं, कुछ नहीं. I know him, that's why, he's a friend of mine, I thought you guys must know in the same circle, that's why. अभी वो सनी देओल की एक मूवी आई थी ना, सनी देओल की एक मूवी आई थी ना अभी रिसेंटली, कोई रेप या किसी एक चीज में था, तो he is the story writer for that as well, right? That's
I was
why
volunteering कि आपको अगर कॉन्टैक्ट वगैरह चाहिए तो मैं हेल्प करवा दूं, बट यू नो हिम.
अमिताभ बच्चन को दे दो यार. अब सीधे ऊपर ही जाएंगे ना, कहाँ छोड़े हो, सीधे अमिताभ का ही दे दो.
उसके बाद वाले का चाहिए तो मैं दे सकता हूँ, ऋतिक रोशन वगैरह का, क्योंकि अभी उसको हमने साइन किया है, पैसे दे रखे हैं अभी.
अच्छा, for the adverts.
Yeah, so he did this something for Wrangler. So I met him last month. हम मिले भी.
यार तुमने कोई शॉर्ट मूवी बनाई है ना प्रियेश?
मैंने बनाई थी भाई, मैंने भी अभिज्ञान को वही बोला था ना, मेरा एक अनफुलफिल्ड डिजायर था. I did a course in production direction all those things.
अच्छा, maybe I think he ignored you just now when you said कि कोई रोल है बताओ, बाप का कोई एक्टर हो तो बताओ. भाई अभिज्ञान हिंट दे रहा है, प्रियेश सुन लो.
I think we'll have to make one with Priyesh and Rajneesh and everyone.
Absolutely.
वो होता है ना, जैसे हम लोग CSR में कुछ काम करते हैं ना, कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी 2% अब रखते हैं अपना, तो वैसे एक किटी फंड बना करके भी लॉन्च समथिंग. बट
Not a bad idea.
अबे मजाक कर रहा था, तुम इसको भी आइडिया मत ले ले.
नहीं, ये भी एक आइडिया रख लो यार. क्या you never know which idea clicks, right? You never know that.
Yeah.
Clicks or not, I mean, if it's worth pursuing, you pursue it.
Pursuing, definitely you should pursue. Absolutely. So thanks guys. Good to see you guys after such a long time.
Thank you everyone. I think a big thanks to Abhigyan Jha. So I think a lot of people who would listen to it would get inspired to pursue different paths. So I think a lot of students from Vidyapit would not dare to take such a unconventional path. So I think this video will at least motivate some of them to pursue different paths, if not entertainment. But of course, somebody would be willing to pursue a career in entertainment would like to get in touch with Abhigyan, and maybe he will guide him further. And thank you, Priyesh, for wonderfully handling the session. I think very well done. So that's all for today, and we will connect with in some other session. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priyesh, again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye. Bye.